उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की। So here we are seeing the continuation of Kapila Muni's descriptions or answers to the questions asked by his mother Devotee. So in this chapter, understanding material nature. So here we are seeing how a self-realized soul sees the Supreme Lord, or how he sees this material world, or how he sees himself. If we see in the previous verse, there is description of how the Supreme Lord is seen in all of his energies, including in the material world. So there a beautiful example is given of sun. The sun is situated in the sky. Its reflection can be seen in a water pot, a container of water kept near the window. The sun's reflection can be seen in that pot. That's the first reflection. The second reflection can be seen from the water pot. The reflection is directed towards the wall. It illuminates the entire room. A dark room can be illuminated through that. So this reflects second reflection. So likewise, we can see how the spirit soul coming in contact with material nature, coming in contact with this body, mind, senses in this entrapment, the same way he exhibits himself. Let us see how it is given in this verse. Evam trivrid ahankaro. So there is this ahankara or false ego. False ego in trivrid, three categories. False ego in goodness, false ego in passion, and false ego in ignorance. Ahankara in sattva, raja and tamogunas. Bhutendriya manomayaihi. Bhuta, indriya, mana. Bhuta, here it is referred to this body. Indriya referring to the senses, and manaha, the mind. The first reflection of the Brahman or the spirit soul, it is through the three modes of material nature. Ahankara in goodness, passion and ignorance. The second reflection we can see in the body, the mind and the senses. Sva abhasair lakshito anena. So this is that abhasa or the reflection, what is being spoken of. Sadabhasena satyadrik. Satyadrik means the self-realized soul, specifically referring to the devotees. because only a devotee is completely self-realized. Any other so-called self-realized persons, their realization is imperfect. Why do we call them imperfect? That very beautifully in the purport Srila Prabhupada has given. We'll discuss that later. First we'll take up this first part. How a Satyadrik or a devotee sees, in contrary to, let us coin this word, say Asatyadrik, who is unable to see things as they are. So in the purport Srila Prabhupada mentions 4 differences. See, conditioned souls, through our material eyes, we also see many things we see, so many things we see around the world. But a Satyadrik, a pure devotee, he also sees, but he sees something different. So what is the difference between a conditioned soul seeing and a liberated soul seeing? So a lot of differences are mentioned in the purport of this shloka. Let us see one by one. 4 differences are mentioned. So maybe before that, so this is clear how there is the sun, there is the water pot and the reflection on the wall. Likewise, there is the spirit soul, there are the 3 modes of material nature, first reflection and the mind, body and senses, the second reflection. How the spirit soul, like its energies, can be seen through. Now, the first difference. This is how the soul is influenced and acts in this material world, as above mentioned in this category. So here 2 categories, one is Satyadrik and one is say conditioned soul, Asatyadrik. A Satyadrik or pure devotee sees things as they are and he acts accordingly. He sees things as they are. Specifically, he sees the hand of the Supreme Lord as Sarva Karana Karanam. The Lord is the origin of everything. Just like he sees some fruit, one mango fruit. So he knows how this mango fruit came from. Oh, it came from the mango tree. Where did the mango tree come from? It came from mango seed. Again, where did the seed come from, or how did the tree originate? Okay, the mango seed is there, it is sown, and through sunlight, rainwater, the seed sprouts and the mango tree comes up and one more mango is produced there. So where is the water coming from? Where is the sunlight coming from? Again, step by step going back, originally the Supreme Lord. He is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He understands. Or I am the original seed. Aham bija pradah pita, the Lord says. So this is how a devotee understands. Whereas the conditioned soul, he is in illusion, he does not know the reality and he acts foolishly. He can't recognize the original cause. What he sees is only material things and material cause. Oh, this is the effect what I am seeing. What is the cause? This is the cause. He just like some light is there. What is the cause? The switch. If I switch it on, the light will illuminate, it will glow. If I switch it off, the light will be shut off. Illumination won't be there. So this is the reason. He doesn't know the ultimate reason or the original cause, the cause beyond what he can see materially. He is not able to see. He doesn't know how if in the power station, if the power supply is cut off, whether he switches the switch on or off, the light will not glow. But foolishly he thinks, oh, everything is there in my control. Yeah, I can switch it on, I can switch it off. But no, this is understanding. So this is what asatyadrik or fool. This is the first difference. A conditioned soul acts foolishly. He is unable to see things as they are. He is under illusion. A satyadrik or pure devotee, he sees things as they are and acts accordingly. The second difference. A pure devotee or a satyadrik, he is situated in Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva platform. What is this platform? In this platform, what will be his consciousness, his understanding? I am spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. My eternal occupation is to serve the Supreme Lord. I am servant of the Supreme Lord. This is Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva platform. On the contrary, the others, the conditioned souls or asatyadrik, they are influenced by sattva, rajas and tamas, the three modes of material nature. And what does he think? I am this body, everything in relationship with this body is mine. See, Maya, this is what she makes a living entity think. You are the body, others are their bodies. And her task is over. Rest of the things the mind will take care. So this is what? Under Sattva Guna, maybe little knowledge is there. Oh, something I am beyond the body. But he is not actually acting on that, Shuddha Sattva platform. But at least some realization is there. It may not be complete. But specifically when it comes to Rajoguna, when he is influenced, everything I-centric, I am the center, everything, things around me. And specifically in Tamoguna, he involves in sinful activities, torturing himself, creating a painful condition for himself. So this is asatyadrik. This is the second difference we can see. A devotee thinks, I am the servant of the Supreme Lord, but a non-devotee thinks, I am this body, everything in connection with this body is mine. This is the second difference. The third, a devotee is in liberated state, which is his natural condition, whereas others are in conditional state, which is unnatural for them. Just like the example of free citizens in the outside world. Just like every one of us, we stay in this country, there are certain laws, we abide by them, and we are eligible for whatever the facilities which the government provides. And independence, whatever extent independence is given, we exercise that. Whereas there are living entities, people inside the prison house, all of their freedom is curtailed, they are restricted, their movement is restricted, their facilities are restricted, they are put in a prison house. So this is the state of non-devotees or conditioned living entities. Then the last one, the satyadrik or a devotee accepts everything and offers it to the Supreme Lord, knowing Him as the real owner. So whatever he sees everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. The Lord is a supreme proprietor and he wants to offer them to the Supreme Lord. So this is a satyadrik. On the other hand, the others, asatyadrik, What do? Prabhupada mentions 4 points in the purport. In the conditioned state, one accepts everything as an object of sense gratification, and in the liberated state, one accepts everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. Krishna consciousness, devotional service, is the actual liberated stage of a living entity. Otherwise, both accepting and rejecting on the material platform or in voidness or impersonalism are imperfect conditions for the pure soul. Let us try to understand this. So we came to know how a pure devotee sees something, wants to offer it to the Supreme Lord. Whereas non-devotees, 4 categories. First is those who see some object and wants to use it for their own sense gratification. The second category, they see some object of sense gratification, they want to reject it. Oh, this involves sense gratification, so I want to reject it. The third, voidism, who say, no, everything is zero. There is no sense gratification. Fourth category, impersonalists, who say everything is illusion. Let us take the same example of the rose flower given in the purport. These 4 categories of people, or maybe a pure devotee first, the Satyadrik. If he sees a rose flower, what does he do? What does he think? He thinks in this way, oh, this fragrant, beautiful rose flower is a creation of the Supreme Lord. It is very beautiful, it is very fragrant, let me offer it to the Supreme Lord. What do the other people think? The first category, who sees things for their sense gratification, that is their vision. Whatever they see, they want it for their sense gratification. So when they see a rose flower, immediately they want to take it, they want to smell it, nice fragrance, they want to keep it with them. Maybe we have seen people keeping it in rose flower in their pocket, very fragrant flower, or they want to use it for themselves. Or some people, especially to technology now, they convert it into nice fragrant scent for application, or they may convert it to some nice edibles like gulkan or whatever, and they want to eat it for themselves. In all of these activities, there is no recognition of the Supreme Lord. They just see, oh, here is a rose flower, let me enjoy, let me use it for my own sense gratification. This is their vision. There is another category, mumukshu, or like people who will reject things in the name of sannyasa, in the name of rejection. They want to reject everything. They see a rose flower, oh, this is an object of sense gratification, I should not see it. They close their eyes. I should not smell it because it's some sense gratification. I need to get liberated from this conditioned state. So these are all objects of sense gratification. I should not see a rose flower, I should not smell it, I should not hear about it. So this is another category of people. And then the third, there are the voidists who say, who see a rose, no, this is not rose, this is zero. I am also zero, you are also zero, the rose flower, that is also zero, ultimately everything is zero. This is another category. And then the last one, impersonalists. What do they say? Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Whatever there is in this material world, everything is mithya, it is false, it is illusion. Only Brahman exists. So when he sees a rose flower, he says, no, rose doesn't exist, it's only illusion. Only Brahman exists, Brahman Satya. This rose flower or other flower or myself or you, nobody exists. Everything is just illusion. Only Brahman, that Brahman exists. Actually, rose doesn't exist. So Prabhupada says, all of these understandings are imperfect. The person who considers a rose flower for his sense gratification, the person who just want to reject it, doesn't want to see it or touch it, the person who says everything is zero, or the person who says everything is illusion, all are imperfect understanding. So what is the perfect understanding? Just like in another context, Prabhupada gives the example of a 100 rupee note, currency note. It is fallen somewhere, you go find it, there is a 100 rupee note fallen on the ground. Three categories of people. The first person, he may see it, take it, nobody is there to watch, put it in his pocket, and he uses it for his sense gratification. The second person, he sees the 100 rupee note, oh, this is not mine. He leaves it there and just walks away. The third person, he sees the 100 rupee note, picks it up, finds out its owner, and he hands it over to him. So the third person, he is rightly situated, neither the first person nor the second person. So this is how, like same example if we take, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, this beautiful flower is made possible by the superior energy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it belongs to the Supreme Lord and should be utilized in His service. So this is the right understanding, perfect understanding. This is the way a Satyadrik looks at, or this is his vision. It belongs to the Supreme Lord. It needs to be used for the service of the Supreme Lord. These are the two kinds of vision. The conditioned soul sees the flower for his own enjoyment, and the devotee sees as an object to be used in the service of the Lord. So here, let us try to understand, taking some examples of great devotees, what is their vision, how they look at things. In ordinary sense, there may be many objects of whatever sense gratification we say. Majority of the population, everybody will look at certain objects as a means for our sense gratification. But pure devotees, their vision is something different. The best example we can take here is of Ramananda Raya. Ramananda Raya, a very close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a very great, exalted devotee. Once, one Brahmana by name Pradyumna Mishra, he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he wanted to discuss with him. So he wanted to hear about Krishna Katha, pastimes of Lord Krishna, from the mouth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Long distance he travels and comes to Jagannatha Puri and wants to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and hear about Krishna from his mouth. When he approaches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu says, no, I don't know anything about Krishna Katha, I don't know much things about Lord Krishna, all those things. If at all you want to hear about Krishna, go to Ramananda Raya. He says, no, Mahaprabhu, I want to hear from you. No, I don't know. You go to him Tell him that I have sent you there. Definitely he'll give you time and he'll speak about Lord Krishna to you and you can spend time with him. So Pradyumna Mishra goes to Ramananda Raya's house. So he goes there. So he was busy inside. His servant receives him and he makes him sit. And when he asks, what is Ramananda Raya doing? So the servant says, Ramananda Raya is there in a secluded place in the inner chambers of the big palatial house. What is he doing? He is training 2 young girls. He is training them to dance. He is teaching dancing for those 2 girls. Arey, Pradyumna Mishra was surprised. What is this? I have come to hear about Lord Krishna, his pastime from a realized soul, self-realized soul. And here I am seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has sent me to Ramananda Raya, who in a secluded place is training young girls in dancing. So he came back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Still again for the second time Mahaprabhu sent him back. No, go, you speak with Ramananda Raya. Again he comes. Again Ramananda Raya was busy again inside, and he heard through his servant how Ramananda Raya was personally massaging their bodies, even touching their private parts, but still he was undisturbed. Of course, conditioned souls, it is said how nobody can imitate this. But what was the perspective of Ramananda Raya? He wanted them to play a nice dance drama for the pleasure of Lord Jagannatha. So he was personally involved in training those 2 young girls. So this is one example we can see. And one more example we hear about Raghava Pandita and his sister Damayanti. So it is said how Raghava Pandit, he used to offer very nice foodstuffs to the Lord. He had deities of Radha Krishna in his home. His house was in Panihati. Now also we can go and see there. So he used to bring varieties of items, cook varieties of foodstuff, very tasty, very palatable, rich foodstuff, and he used to offer to the Lord. It is said how even though Raghava Pandit, he had a huge garden and he had hundreds of coconut trees, where a lot of coconuts used to grow there. But still, if he hears that there is some nice fruits, maybe some nice coconuts which are available somewhere in a distant place, he used to pay extra, double the price, spend on bringing those goods to his home, and he used to see that the best items are being offered to the Lord. Likewise, his sister also, Damayanti, every year they used to travel and go to Jagannath Puri to meet Mahaprabhu. And his sister Damayanti, she was an expert cook. Whole year she used to spend in collecting nice items, nice roots, flowers, vegetables, all of those things, dry it and convert it into different eatables and nicely pack it and send it along with her brother Raghav Pandit to be carried to Jagannath Puri to be offered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is how great devotees, which we may consider as an object for our sense gratification, but their vision is completely different. Whatever they see, whatever the best things they see, they want to offer it to the Supreme Lord. In fact, one devotee, one Indian devotee, he recollects one reminiscence with Srila Prabhupada. He was an Indian, but he came in contact with Srila Prabhupada, with ISKCON in the Western countries. So he went abroad for studies. He did his studies there, and he got a job there, well placed, he was earning nicely, and he was in touch with devotees there. Many days passed. One fine day, when Srila Prabhupada went there, he expressed his desire. Prabhupada, like he was telling, that from so many days I've been in touch with the movement, these many rounds I've been chanting, and many of his his drawbacks also he started explaining to Prabhupada. And he asked, like he told Prabhupada, I'm thinking of dedicating my life for the mission. I want to quit my job and I want to join the movement. So Prabhupada heard from him sufficiently, many things he heard, and Prabhupada asked a question. Why do you want to give the job? Nicely you are earning and contributing to the temple. No, I am not interested now in money and all of these things. I am not at all interested in money, earning money now. You may not be interested, but I am interested. You can work and give the money. And the devotee was shocked to hear this. So this is the vision of a pure devotee. Of course, the object which we may think, if at all we see money or some food item or whatever, our conception will be how to use it for my sense gratification. But the vision of the pure devotees is completely different. Whatever they see it in connection with the Supreme Lord, and they want to offer it to the Supreme Lord. So these are the two kinds of vision. The conditioned soul sees the flower for his own enjoyment, and the devotee sees the flower as an object to be used in the service of the Lord. In the same way, one can see the reflection of the Supreme Lord in one's own senses, mind and body, in everything. So likewise, a devotee, how is he supposed to see? The reflection of the Supreme Lord in his own body, mind and senses. A devotee sees, this body, this is not mine. The senses are not mine. The mind is not mine. These are all instruments given to me by the Supreme Lord. He is the real owner. He is the real Hrishikesha, the master of the senses. So what is to be done? My senses, my body, my mind, all of these have to be offered to the Supreme Lord for His service. Through my eyes, let me see the beautiful form of the Lord. Through my ears, let me hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. Through my mouth, let me chant His glories, His holy names. Through my hands, let me engage my hands in serving the Supreme Lord, following in the footsteps of Maharaja Ambarisha, using all our senses in the service of the Lord. So if this is done, in the last Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport how, quoting from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when a person engages all of his mind, his body, senses in the service of the Lord, he is already in a liberated state. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasa gira nikhilasu avasthasu api jivan muktaha sa uchyate. If a person engages all his faculties of his body, mind, senses, everything in the service of the Lord, whatever condition he be in this material world, he may be situated in his family, leading a family life, he may be working somewhere in some place, he is involved in many so-called material activities, but still he is said to be in a liberated condition if he is using all of these things in the service of the Supreme Lord. So we'll end with this. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any questions are there? Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.